Let's talk more about that case and the rising levels of sexual violence in South Africa with Kwanele Foundation activist and founder Sihle Sibisi. Sihle, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time on Newzroom Afrika tonight. We already know that this country is grappling with an alarming level of sexual violence, but with this story, it's been made more disturbing by the fact that these are children who allegedly planned and committed the crime.
I think, good evening to Newsroom listeners and everybody. It is very traumatic, the experience that these children have imposed on another child. And I think the most traumatic part of it all is that we're seeing that our law enforcement is not doing anything much to make sure that justice is being given to this minor. Because this is a minor child that needs intervention holistically, psychologically, holistically. And the fact that it's children, it shouldn't be excusable. Because at the end of the day, rape is rape. GBV is GBV. Whether you're young, whether you're old, you must be able to be brought to book to say what you have done is not okay. And we implore the parents of the alleged perpetrators, these young children, to say, take your children in. Make sure that your children are held accountable for this, that which they've done. Let us not turn a blind eye to say, no, it's my child, he's young, it's a mistake. It can never be a mistake because the emotional scars that stay with these young people are that of a lifetime.
And we use the word children, perhaps, for people who haven't seen the story. These are boys who are old enough to have known right from wrong, because these are 17-year-olds from the report that I've seen. So they would have had a certain level of exposure and socialization to have known that it was wrong to rape someone if indeed they committed this crime, because there's also, as I understand it, footage or evidence from a phone to support the fact that they are the attackers.
Exactly. For me, as I say, there is nothing that can excuse this, because at the age of 17, they should have known the difference between right and wrong. And the fact that there's footage to support it, at the end of the day, it doesn't even need for us to lead to footage. It goes to the education of these boys. It trickles down to the society at large to say, are we going to turn a blind eye because we're going to say these are 17 years old, they're not yet classified as adults according to our system because you're an adult when you're 18 and above? No. The same law that applies to any other person when it relates to gender-based violence should be used to these children. Let these children be the example for other children who are possibly in high school or in university to say that you can't think you can have your way with somebody's child without their consent and think you're going to get away with it. Because I think the problem now is the fact that we're not seeing the law harshly taking charge and doing something. People are thinking it's okay. It's okay to go and rape our fellow female or male learners at school or on campuses. Nothing will be done about it. That is why we are imploring the law to say, make sure that justice is achieved. Justice is not denied. More especially, the psychological intervention for this girl and the family, because as it is now, the girl is experiencing third degree or secondary victimization, because what is happening to the people that have traumatically done this gruesome deed to her? Absolutely nothing. So you'll find there are people there who are looking back and thinking, she asked for it, she's a liar, all these innuendos that people might have. But it's high time that our government, the law, steps up and says, it's not about age. Gender-based violence is real. And that is why we say such education needs to be highlighted from the classroom level, from the early childhood development level, so that such things do not happen in our society.
But there's already been campaigns, even when you look at the school curriculum for life orientation, for example, you're taught about why it's wrong to touch people inappropriately, why it's wrong to sexually harass, to sexually assault, rape others. Yet and still, we're not seeing a drastic change in the picture as far as sexual violence in South Africa. Why do you think the numbers remain so stubbornly high?
I think it's because when you go to the education systems, our teachers are inundated with administration. Educating or being a teacher is no longer like what it was before. You are inundated with the administration of the work, where even the life orientation educator is exhausted by the issues that are brought before her. That is why organizations like ours, Kwanele Foundation, we partner with schools to say, let us be the ones that bring forth education, conversations, and dialogues of gender-based violence and femicide within the classroom, because we find that learners tend to trust us more, and we're able to get forth more intervention. And the reason why numbers are going up, you find that when an educator hears of an alleged victimization within the school grounds, they will sometimes want to resolve it within themselves as staff, teachers, as educators. And even if they do call in the parents, you find that some parents will want to silence the other parents. They'll want to either buy cows, goats, or give them money to say, turn a blind eye, don't report this. Another challenge is, we implore that when a school, when an educator hears of an incident of such, they must be mandated to call forth the law enforcement. This thing of saying educators will resolve it with the parents and the teachers on the side, it will not work. Let the law enforcement come to the school. Let the law enforcement come to collect both the victim and the perpetrator, because we are aware that once they are at the police station, they've got gender-based violence and femicide desks, where a social worker or a psychologist will be able to interview the alleged victim, who will be able to pour out the real truth, and that way they'll be able to resolve the cases. So the reason why issues are coming up is because teachers also, because maybe their salaries are not that great, when such issues come up, they'll want to resolve it among themselves, and it's easy for them to accept bribes, to turn a blind eye when parents say, let's keep quiet and not talk about such matters.
Sihle Sibisi, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time tonight.